To promote the American cultural heritage, I wore the costume of the late opera master to the graduation gala. Who knew that as soon as I appeared, my childhood sweetheart booed and drove me off the stage. They laughed at me for being outdated, smashed my diamond tiara, and danced street dance in my Civil War era ball gown. Little did they know that this costume was priceless. I never imagined that the first time I performed Oklahoma on stage, I would be met with boos. The lead girl, wearing a tight tank top, gesticulated wildly and shouted, "Yeah, why is this old-fashioned stuff at the graduation ceremony? Hurry up and get off the stage, make way for our street dance team." According to tradition, an opera singer must not stop once they start singing. I had studied with the late opera soprano master for over a decade, so I naturally didn't want to break the rules. What's more, I was wearing the most meaningful and priceless costume left by my teacher. But just as I calmed down and was about to continue, the girl actually led her team to jump onto the stage. Seeing their outrageous behavior, the students in the audience cheered loudly. "It's Tiffany's street dance team, she's won awards overseas. Is this a show we can watch without buying tickets? Why hasn't that opera singer gotten off the stage yet?" This is the taste of freedom, as expected of a girl who dances street dance. Listening to the crowd's comments, I roughly guessed the girl's identity. Tiffany, who went overseas as an exchange student as soon as she enrolled. She had won street dance awards overseas, and although she wasn't on campus, she was a widely known it girl. Tiffany led a group of people and rudely blocked me, forming a line. To my shock, the music and lights switched to passionate overseas pop music. I was furious. Because Peter, my boyfriend, was the one controlling the music and lights backstage. Amidst the boos, I strode to the backstage and stopped the music with a snap. "Peter, once the show starts, you can't stop it, even if the sky falls." Before Peter could speak, the members of the street dance team also arrived backstage. Tiffany, the leader, raised her hand and slapped me. "You're taking up our time, and you dare to come backstage to make trouble." I was about to fight back when Peter held me down. "She's the Joe Corporation's heiress. You can't afford to pay with 10 lives if you touch her." Then Peter stepped over me, took Tiffany's right hand that had just hit me, and carefully checked it. "Is your hand okay? You've been overseas for so many years. Why are you still so impulsive?" Tiffany giggled. "I'm fine, Peter. Is this your affected girlfriend?" Even if I were any dumber, I would have understood their relationship at that moment. Shock and humiliation surged into my heart. I forcefully shook off the person blocking me and walked up to Tiffany. "You ruined my performance. Apologize." Tiffany rolled her eyes disdainfully, but before she could speak, her teammates began to chime in. "Let Tiffany apologize to you? Who do you think you are, you lousy opera singer?" I lowered my gaze and scanned the crowd. Who do I think I am? This costume I'm wearing is enough to buy your lives. Everyone was stunned for a moment, and then burst into laughter. As expected, opera singers are all crazy. I bet you can't even afford food. Costume? Did you find these garbage props in a garbage can? As she spoke, Tiffany's teammates went behind me and suddenly pulled off the diamond tiara on my head. I was shocked and wanted to snatch it back, but she was too fast and had already thrown the diamond tiara into Tiffany's hands. I ran towards Tiffany, but she then threw the diamond tiara to another teammate. Seeing me nervously following, a few people seemed to find it fun, laughing and throwing it back and forth quickly, deliberately teasing me. My mind went blank with anger, and I shouted, "Enough! This is the diamond tiara left by the late opera master Eugene O'Neill. It uses National Heritage Craft Navajo silverwork and a set of pure gold pearls. You can't afford to pay if anything goes wrong." At this moment, the diamond tiara had been thrown back into Tiffany's hands. She disdainfully raised the diamond tiara, looked at it under the light, and sneered. "As expected, singing opera has rotted your brain. What's the difference between you and beggars? Just things to amuse people. Pearls are all white, but yours are golden. I think they're painted plastic beads." Saying that, she gave me a smile, and then loosened her hand, and the diamond tiara fell straight to the ground. I could hardly breathe as I watched the scene. This wasn't an ordinary diamond tiara, it was my late teacher's most precious treasure. If it weren't to add color to the alma mater's graduation gala, I would never have touched this costume. On weekdays, I only dared to take it out and admire it quietly, and I couldn't even bear to wear it, for fear of bumping it. But now, this group of people dared to use it as a tool to tease me, and even threw it on the ground. I was really going crazy, my legs trembling. I stepped forward and lowered my head to pick up the diamond tiara to check. The pure gold filigree threads had been bent, and the pearl inlays were scattered all over the ground. I held the diamond tiara tightly in my arms, suppressed my tears, and squatted down to pick up the fallen pearls. At this moment, a pair of trendy brand shoes appeared in front of me, and with a heavy kick, kicked the pearls far away. With Tiffany taking the lead, her street dance team started laughing again. They rudely treated the South Sea pure gold pearls as toys, kicking them everywhere. I couldn't hold back my tears. This was a priceless treasure, and the handcraft masters who made it at the time had all passed away, and the skills used on this diamond tiara could never be restored. So much effort from so many predecessors, now passed on to my hands, and destroyed in my hands. How can I make up for all of this? I knelt on the ground in a mess, my fingers constantly searching in the dirt. When I saw that the pearls were fine, only stained with dirt, I couldn't control it, held it to my chest, and cried loudly. The makeup washed away by tears was casually wiped away by me, and under the night, I was a complete mess. A group of people looked at me crying on the ground, and were stunned for a moment. After a while, Peter's voice broke the silence. "Annabelle, I know you like to sing opera, but Tiffany is the Joe Corporation's daughter, and her art was learned overseas. Even if you act like a ghost, you can't compare to Tiffany. Stop embarrassing yourself here, get up quickly, take your garbage, and go home." I was awakened by his cold voice, and my eyes swept over the people in front of me one by one. "You destroyed my diamond tiara." Tiffany didn't care at all, squatted down and patted my face lightly with her hand. "Not us, it was me. I just destroyed it. What can you do to me?" I took a deep breath, raised my hand and slapped her hard. "I want the rest of your life to be spent in prison with eternal remorse." Tiffany screamed in surprise and fell backward. In a flash, Peter kicked me hard on the shoulder. "Enough. Annabelle, take your garbage and get as far away from me as possible." As he spoke, the students who came to watch gossiped. "I always thought this Annabelle was crazy. She dared to hit the Joe Corporation's daughter. She's finished in this life. Peter is so cool. His boyfriend power is off the charts." Then, a few classmates who had a good relationship with Peter stood in front of me and urged Tiffany, "Everyone is waiting. You guys go on stage quickly. We'll help you deal with this little thing." Tiffany gently stroked her swollen cheek with one hand, her voice full of viciousness. "Annabelle, is it? Dare to touch me, you just wait. My performance today is very important. I'll deal with you when I come back after the show." After speaking, she glanced at me with gritted teeth and quickly left with her teammates. I had already calmed down at this moment. Now the most important thing is to find all the accessories, and then have the family mobilize people to find the surviving handcraft masters and jointly repair the diamond tiara. Thinking of this, I first went to the dressing room to take off the Civil War era ball gown, and then used the light of my cell phone to slowly search on the ground. I don't know how much time had passed, but the scattered pearls were finally found. I breathed a sigh of relief and put the Civil War era ball gown and diamond tiara in a box. Then I walked out of the deafening backstage and called my dad in a secluded place. He was furious after hearing my story, but he and my mom were attending a conference overseas at the moment, so he could only ask Mr. Smith to come and help first. After I hung up the cell phone, I planned to take the costume home first. But as soon as I returned to the backstage, I saw Tiffany doing somersaults on the ground wearing my Civil War era ball gown. I was so angry that I almost fainted. Who allowed you to touch my things? When Tiffany saw me coming back, she stood up straight and looked at me rudely. Listen carefully. I am the Joe Corporation's daughter. Today you ruined my performance and slapped me. I also ruined your garbage. It's very fair. After speaking, she raised her eyebrows at me provocatively. Let me tell you, Peter is mine. How dare you seduce my Peter while I'm not around? I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life. Peter stood beside Tiffany and looked at me with a cold face. Apologize to Tiffany now, and we can forgive you, otherwise. Before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by a male voice. Otherwise, what can you do? Our young lady's treasures are so valuable that you can't afford to pay for them even if you empty your family's coffers. As Th. E voice spoke, everyone's eyes gathered on the person who walked in, and I stood in the crowd and breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Mr. Smith arrived in time, and no matter what, these treasures would not be destroyed by this group of fools. Mr. Smith frowned as he walked in, and when he saw my tear-stained and disheveled appearance, he immediately looked at the crowd in anger. Who gave you the guts to touch the incorporation's heir's things? The legal team, follow me, assess the damage immediately, call the police. No one who touched the young lady's collection is allowed to be let go. Seeing such a tense scene, Tiffany hurriedly hid in the dressing room, wanting to take off the Civil War era ball gown she was wearing. The legal team stood respectfully by my side, making way for the appraiser to check the diamond tiara first. The appraisal expert held the fallen diamond tiara in both hands, his eyebrows furrowed tightly. If I'm not mistaken, this is the craftsmanship of the late Dinsui Master Huayuan, a priceless treasure, and this complete set of pure gold pearls and this national heritage craft filigree craftsmanship. Speaking of this, he stood up angrily and glared at the huddled members of the street dance team. How dare you be so wasteful? This diamond tiara is not only worth hundreds of millions in manufacturing value, but its artistic and cultural value is even immeasurable. You all just wait and rot in jail. Looking at his gnashing teeth, the students looked at each other in panic and whispered, really? Tiffany just said it was a pile of junk. Is this thing really that expensive? These people don't look like they're pretending. Their temperament looks very rich. But Annabelle doesn't even have a designer bag. How could she have such expensive things? What's going on? It's so serious. I'm a little scared. I looked at Tiffany with a cold face, quietly watching her change out of the Civil War era ball gown and come out of the dressing room. Give the Civil War era ball gown to the appraiser. Now let's calculate properly whether you'll get the death penalty or life imprisonment. Tiffany was also frightened by such a solemn atmosphere, didn't dare to talk back, but walked over with a pout. But when she saw Mr. Smith standing by my side, her eyes suddenly lit up. Uncle Zhang, why is it you? Mr. Smith had been staring at my things just now, and suddenly turned to look at her when Tiffany called out to him, Miss Tiffany, what a coincidence. Tiffany ran a few steps to Mr. Smith's side and frowned. Uncle Zhang, I was so scared just now. Quickly tell them, is this Annabelle pretending to be a ghost to scare people? Mr. Smith hesitated slightly after hearing this. Tiffany shook Mr. Smith's sleeve relentlessly. Speak up, Uncle Zhang, my friends are all scared. I rolled my eyes disdainfully, my voice full of anger. The appraiser has already reported the value of the diamond tiara. Tiffany, you can't escape. Unexpectedly, as soon as I finished speaking, Mr. Smith looked at Tiffany and said, misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. Miss Tiffany was frightened. Then he looked at me with a cold face. Okay, Miss Annabelle, please stop harassing Miss Tiffany. After speaking, he actually pulled up the teary-eyed appraiser. Let's go back. I was dumbfounded. Mr. Smith, are you crazy? Call the police immediately. Mr. Smith touched his nose awkwardly and exchanged glances with Tiffany. Stop making trouble, Annabelle. You're using a set of fakes to swindle people. It's already a high honor that Miss Tiffany hasn't sued you. Take your things and leave quickly. If you continue to pester, don't blame us for being rude. I took a step forward, blocked the door, and stared at Mr. Smith. If you disobey my orders and leave with people today, you know the consequences. Mr. Smith's face flashed with panic when he heard this, but he still gritted his teeth and continued, "You won." TTU's fake goods to cheat money from Miss Tiffany. The trick has been exposed. Don't make another mistake. After speaking, Mr. Smith reached out and pushed me aside, leading the crowd away. I was a little dazed by this series of events, but Tiffany and her street dance team didn't give me a chance to think. They surrounded me, each with a mocking expression. "TCH, made such a big show. Turns out you spent money to hire actors to scare us." Luckily, Tiffany, you have wide connections, otherwise we would have almost been tricked by her. The appearance fee for these actors must be very expensive. Is the money you just compensated enough? If not, I'll give you some more. Saying that, they actually took out change and threw it at my head. I was still in a state of shock, but I knew that it wasn't wise to face such a group of lunatics alone without anyone to support me. What I should do now is to find the National Heritage Crafts successor to repair the Oklahoma costume. Also, investigate what secrets Mr. Smith has on him. After thinking clearly, I stood up, picked up the diamond tiara and Civil War-era ball gown, and dialed the police in the face of all the ridicule. Seeing that I still chose to call the police, Tiffany frowned unhappily. "Peter, this woman is really endless. I finally found the media to film and help me increase exposure. It was all ruined by her." Peter also sighed. "Annabelle, I know you're very dissatisfied with me dumping you, but I can't marry an ordinary girl like you. I was just playing with you." I had been tossing around all night, and I was already mentally and physically exhausted, and I didn't have the energy to talk nonsense with them. "I'll leave after the police record the scene. We'll settle this account later." The police quickly arrived and took pictures and collected evidence at the scene. Tiffany pouted and crossed her legs. "Please hurry up. I still want to go get a late-night snack with Peter." I sneered at Tiffany. "You see. And go get a late-night snack. But before you leave, dare you say it again, that you smashed the diamond tiara, and you will bear all the consequences?" Tiffany pursed her lips and, "I admit it, it was me. Even if your broken thing is really valuable, I can afford to pay for it." After speaking, she stood up disdainfully and pulled Peter away. The police reached out to stop them, but I stopped them. "It's good that you dare to admit it. Let you be proud for 2 days first. I have more important things to do." After talking to my parents, they decided to rush back overnight. I first mobilized the incorporation's connections to find artisans who could repair the diamond tiara, and then started looking for trustworthy people to investigate Mr. Smith. I didn't know until I investigated that Mr. Smith used to be Tiffany's dad's driver. No wonder he protected this former Miss Tiffany so much. It's a pity that he forgot that I, Annabelle, am his real employer now. When I rushed back to the mansion, Mr. Smith was comfortably sitting on the sofa smoking. Seeing me come back, his expression was a little flustered, but he quickly regained his composure. "Miss N, you're back. I had no choice just now. Don't take it to heart." I raised my eyebrows and pointed to the door. "You're fired. Get out now." Mr. Smith was a little anxious. "I was hired by Mr. N. You're just a little girl. You don't have the right to fire me." Looking at his appearance, I sneered. "As the N family's butler, you helped others commit perjury and wantonly slander your employer. I will not only fire you, but also publicize your deeds, so that everyone knows that hiring you as a butler is worse than hiring a dog." Mr. Smith slowed down his expression after hearing this, and his tone was pleading. "You also know the situation at the time. Tiffany is just a child. Even if she broke your things, you can just fix them, right? Your incorporation is so rich, can't you let them off?" I really wanted tea. Oh, laugh out loud. Why should I be bullied by people who have no money just because I have money? Before I could speak, my parents pushed the door in. Mr. Smith immediately put on a flattering expression, falsely accusing me of bullying my classmates. In response to him, my mom slapped him hard. "It was you who helped outsiders bully our daughter. Get out of here." Mr. Smith covered his face, opened his eyes in shock, and stammered, trying to explain. Looking at his nervous appearance, I sneered, "My parents are not fools. You wouldn't think they would side with you, an outsider, would you?" Mr. Smith, when you said I was a liar in front of everyone, you didn't have this expression. Mr. Smith still wanted to argue, but my parents had no intention of listening to his nonsense, and directly asked the security guards to drive him out. Just then, news came from the company that an artisan who could repair the diamond tiara had been found. But he was old and was overseas and couldn't return to the country, so I had to personally take the costume overseas for repairs. Without delay, I immediately embraced the diamond tiara and sailed across the ocean alone. The restoration process was surprisingly smooth. Although the diamond tiara had been dropped several times, it was refurbished in just 3 months thanks to the master's painstaking work. At the same time, the Civil War-era ball gown, which was left in the country waiting to be repaired, was also restored to its original state after several twists and turns. A big stone in my heart finally fell to the ground. Next, it was time to meet Tiffany, the street dance champion. After some investigation, I learned that all kinds of media had been squatting under the stage on the day of the graduation gala. As long as Tiffany took the stage, everyone would start filming and then hype up the popularity and increase exposure. When the time was right, Tiffany could directly enter the entertainment industry. Thinking about it is way. It's no wonder Tiffany was so anxious to drive me off the stage at the time. After all, how can street dance compare to China's American cultural heritage? She was jealous that I had been with Peter, and she was afraid that my stage would steal her limelight. Although there was a mistake at the time, Tiffany still received a lot of support thanks to the Joe Corporation's hard promotion. I looked at Tiffany standing in front of the camera being interviewed, and slightly curled the corners of my mouth. Smile. Soon, you will never be able to smile again. In order to increase exposure, Tiffany has recently been participating in a youth campus variety show funded by the Joe Corporation. I also signed up. When Tiffany saw me backstage, she didn't recognize me at all, because I had put on makeup and looked completely different from usual. But even if she didn't recognize me, Tiffany wouldn't let go of any opportunity to ridicule opera artists. She reached out and greeted her street dance team members. "Come and see, isn't this the same as that Annabelle we bullied last time, that Annabelle?" "Don't say it, it's really exactly the same." Annabelle said that set of clothes was worth hundreds of millions. "It seems like they're everywhere." Laughed to death. You dare to say it? You dare to believe it? Just a stinky opera singer. Saying that, Tiffany pushed me disdainfully. "Hey, be honest, how much is what you're wearing worth?" I slowly turned my head and looked at Tiffany. "Worth your life." Tiffany's face froze instantly. "What do you mean? Are you a human or a ghost? Who sent you here?" I gave Tiffany a smile. "Long time no see, Tiffany." Tiffany looked at me in shock. "You're Annabelle? How dare you show up? Peter said he had already taught you a lesson and would never let you harass me again. What are you doing here?" I sneered. "Is that so? It seems like your Peter is really perfunctory to you. With just him, he can't move me, Annabelle." Tiffany's pretty Ace turned red. "Get out of here. You're not welcome here." At this time, the director ran over with a plate of fruit in small steps. Tiffany reached out to take it, but the director handed the plate to me. "Miss, and please moisten your throat first. Our conditions here are poor, and we don't serve you well. Please forgive us." I nodded casually. "Why hasn't it started yet?" The director ran away in small steps as if he had received an imperial edict. "All departments prepare, miss, and has spoken. Start immediately." Tiffany and her group's eyeballs were about to fall out. She roared at the director angrily. "Come back, I didn't say start. What the hell are you filming? The director turned around when he heard this, his face as cold as ice. I only listen to Miss N's arrangements. What qualifications do you have to tell me what to do, you who stuffed money in? Tiffany looked at the director in disbelief. Take a good look. My dad invested $5 million. The director looked at her angrily and snorted coldly, directly arranging for people to start the live broadcast. In order to become famous, Tiffany specially grabbed the first spot on stage. At this moment, even if she had thousands of angers in her heart, she could only put them away and wait obediently for the opening. It's just that her teammates were all whispering, the director listens to Annabelle so much. Does Annabelle really have a backstage? It's hard to say. Maybe she went out to be a mistress for someone, and then did a black box deal, you know. A few people were talking with great enthusiasm and secretly exchanged glances. And Tiffany stood among the crowd, her face as dark as hell. Taking advantage of the last chance before going on stage, she looked at me fiercely. Annabelle, I don't care what means you used, you're dead after I perform. I still looked at Tiffany with that smiling expression. You won't be able to wait until the performance is over. Tiffany didn't understand the meaning of my words, and the music had already started. She couldn't bother arguing with me and went on stage with her teammates somersaulting. Everyone landed steadily and immediately won applause. I've heard of Tiffany for a long time. She's won awards overseas, and her reputation is not small. She's so amazing before she even graduated, and she's the Joe Corporation's daughter. Her future is immeasurable. The one in the middle is Tiffany, right? She's also good-looking. I looked at the confident smiles on their faces and waved to the director. Instantly, the lights went out, and the music stopped. A moment later, the music from the Oklahoma scene began to play softly. I stepped onto the stage under a spotlight, hitting every beat, and stood before everyone. The perfect lighting, combined with my full head of jewelry, instantly dazzled the audience. But soon, some people noticed something was wrong. Wasn't Tiffany's street dance supposed to be first? What's going on? Did they mix up the schedule? Tiffany hasn't even danced yet. Who is this, trying to steal the spotlight? Opera? Who even watches Peking opera these days? I can't believe this. Before they could finish, some knowledgeable audience members shouted, "That's Eugene O'Neill's costume." Oh my God, I never thought I'd see the Oklahoma costume in my lifetime. That look, it's so similar. Is she a successor of the May School? I've never heard of her before. I haven't heard of her either, but I've heard of that diamond tiara. It's said to be worth a fortune. Amidst the chatter, Tiffany and her crew's faces turned pale. I ignored Tiffany and the others who were frozen in place and started dancing and singing along with the music. The ice wheel on the sea island begins to turn. I had been practicing this part since I was a child, singing it countless times. With the movement of my water sleeves and the opening and closing of my fan, every smile and frown was perfect. Soon, the act was over. And the audience members who knew Peking opera were talking even louder. Why doesn't this Oklahoma have any maids? What are you talking about? Aren't those a few strangely dressed maids serving her in the back? Tiffany, who had been standing behind me, reluctant to leave the stage, was trembling with anger. She couldn't hold back any longer and pointed at me, yelling, "Annabelle, Anne, who the hell gave you the right to steal my performance time?" I gave her a provocative smile. The program that you worked so hard to get into is something I could arrange with a single word. So, I can steal it if I want to. I don't need anyone to give me the right. Tiffany's street dance, which she had painstakingly prepared for 3 months, ultimately didn't get to be performed. Not to mention her, even those freeloading teammates noticed something was off. Tiffany, what's going on? Didn't you say that following you would make us famous? Aren't you the daughter of the Joe Corporation? Why isn't Annabelle, Anne, afraid of you at all, and neither is the director? Say something. We've been following you for so long, you have to give us an explanation. Tiffany's brain didn't seem to have recovered from the blow, and she was full of pent-up anger. Seeing her teammates, who were usually respectful to her, dare to question her directly, she slapped the girl who was leading the charge without thinking. That girl was the one who had snatched my diamond tiara that day, and she wasn't one to take a loss. After being slapped, she immediately retaliated. I sat in front of the mirror, removing my makeup while watching them fight like cats and dogs, feeling extremely satisfied. After fighting for a while, they finally remembered me, the instigator. Tiffany pushed away the people around her and stormed towards me, Annabelle, and, "What tricks did you use?" I raised my eyes slightly, admiring her frustrated expression. "How dare you, a little servant girl, use that tone to speak to our noble consort?" Hearing my veiled sarcasm about the scene on stage, Tiffany was so angry that she felt like her lungs were about to explode. She lunged at me, trying to hit me, but was immediately pinned to the ground by security. "Tiffany, you can't touch the heir of the incorporation." Watching her struggle desperately, I slowly squatted down and gently patted her flushed face. "Tiffany, you should have known this day would come when you destroyed my collection." Tiffany struggled non-stop, like a fish out of water. "Impossible, I don't believe it. Peter said you were just an ordinary person." I raised an eyebrow and slapped Tiffany hard. "Do you think ordinary people deserve to be humiliated and bullied like that?" Tiffany continued to shout defiantly, "You ordinary people are born to be enslaved and trampled on by us rich people. I will bully whoever I don't like." I listened to her rant quietly and slapped her again. "Well, what a coincidence, Tiffany, in my eyes, you're just an ordinary person too. This slap is for all the ordinary people." Tiffany's cheek was swollen high, and her eyes were full of hatred. "Just you wait, I will destroy you." Tiffany's way of destroying me was to publish a long essay online. The general idea was that I, Annabelle, was uneducated, bullied my Tiffany, and relied on my family background to deliberately ruin Tiffany's performance and bully her in the backstage. For a time, I became the focus of attention online. "I've seen her Oklahoma performance, it's all good, but I didn't expect her to be so vicious behind the scenes. Do masters not care about character when accepting disciples these days? It's really tarnishing traditional art. Gross, this kind of vicious person is actually the heir of the incorporation. I'm going to boycott this company from now on." I looked at these comments, feeling a little speechless. Now that they already knew I was the sole heir of the incorporation, instead of kneeling down and begging for mercy, they were spreading rumors and slander online. "Tiffany, it's embarrassing to have an opponent like you." I quickly found a recording of the alma mater anniversary performance and released a high-definition remastered version with the caption, "I, Annabelle, and never bully people unless it's Tiffany." Soon, someone watched the recording from beginning to end and became a summary master, explaining the whole story clearly. Overnight, the online sentiment changed. "Tiffany seems like she has brain damage, bullying people like this. I'm so angry, please ask it Annabelle, and hasn't the case of her deliberately damaging other people's property been filed yet? Doing such a hurtful thing to break into the entertainment industry, why isn't she being blacklisted?" I looked at the netizens' comments with a smile and replied, "The case has been filed and the damages have been assessed. I really don't know if incorporation will choose to protect this daughter or declare bankruptcy on the spot." Getting my reply, the netizens became even more excited. "Oh my God, Annabelle," and replied to me, "She's so cool. We should repay evil with evil. We can't let this kind of vicious woman like Tiffany continue to be rampant." I had just put down my cell phone when there was a sudden, urgent knocking on the door. Oh, it turned out to be my ex-boyfriend, Peter. Seeing me, he was all smiles. "Annabelle, and I didn't know your identity before, so I made some small mistakes. Now I know that you are the heir of the incorporation. It was all my impulsiveness in the past." I wonder if you can be generous and let Tiffany go. I looked at his fawning expression and raised my eyebrows. What, did Tiffany break her leg? Can't she come herself? Peter seemed to remember something, and cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Miss N, you're so perceptive, she did break her leg. This was a bit unexpected, but before I could ask, Tiffany's parents also came to my door. Seeing me standing at the door, they also ran over with flattering faces. Miss N, that rebellious daughter has committed an unforgivable crime and has been beaten severely by us. She's still lying in the hospital. Please be generous and forgive her this time. Looking at the people begging bitterly, I couldn't help but recall the night the diamond tiara was destroyed. I was already in a miserable state at the time. Why couldn't anyone let me go? If I were really just an ordinary person, would they still think they were wrong? No, they wouldn't. They just understood that they were finished. Thinking of this, I directly ordered the security guards to send them away. The case of your Tiffany will proceed according to the law. She may not be sentenced to death, but she will definitely not escape life imprisonment. Instantly, Tiffany's mother burst into tears. But Tiffany's father was clearly more rational. He stood on the steps and said tremblingly, "Then can your family's feud with this rebellious daughter Tiffany not involve our Joe Corporation?" I looked at Tiffany's father with a smile. "Your good daughter used your name to humiliate me back then. What do you think?" Hearing this, Tiffany's parents suddenly collapsed in front of my house as if their bones had been removed. I was about to leave, but after taking 2 steps, I suddenly thought of something else, then turned back to look at Peter. "I almost forgot about you. Don't be in a hurry to help your parents-in-law. I won't let your family go either." Peter's face turned green with anger. "Annabelle, and don't be too overbearing." I curled my lips. "I call it an eye for an eye." After saying that, I turned and left in their hateful gazes. Soon after, Tiffany was sentenced to life imprisonment. The following month, Joe Corporation and Peter's family declared bankruptcy at the same time. No one thought I was cruel because of this. Instead, everyone praised my actions as satisfying and just. I quit. LY took over the family company, managing the company while also starting a variety show about traditional opera. Because of the influence of the previous popularity, many people would watch a few episodes even if they weren't interested, and soon, they fell in love with Chinese traditional tunes. To this, they said that the genes left by their ancestors had awakened. I took advantage of the momentum to promote traditional culture, not just opera, but also integrated national heritage craft culture, traditional Chinese medicine culture, and all kinds of interesting segments into the variety show. I think, in the future, there will never be a situation where an opera singer is interrupted as soon as they appear.